But we do got the drafts now underway, and look at that. Blackheart's Dragonshire and Garden is out, and Team Baguette Saucisson is going to take us to a Cursed Hollow.
Not surprised. Cursed Hollow, like we said before, just the most popular map in Heroes of the Storm at the moment. Most professional players prefer playing on it. It's just a very standard go-to map. It's just most teams know how to play it pretty well.
It's the map. I mean, if I have to take any map and symbolize Heroes of the Storm, it's probably this one.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And we have Team Baguette is can open with a first ban on Zeratul. Yeah, not surprising. We've actually even seen some Zeratul bans in North America, but definitely Europe both fears and prefers taking Zeratul. So, and UU gonna actually ban out Stitches here.
Yeah, Team Uther is just saying, all right, well, both of these heroes are super good on this map. I mean, not only are there so many hook spots that you can lead into kills, but the pressure of the hooks, especially since you have to congregate for bosses, you got to congregate for tributes. Even if you get a roaming Stitches into Tyrande, Stitches into Jaina. Jaina is probably the bigger one at this point because she's just so massive in this patch right now. She's really good for a lot of roaming comps that we've seen in the past. So having both of these guys out, I mean, Zeratul with the Void Prisons, of course, but it's not really too much of a surprise to me.
Yeah, I mean, so many options for Stitches in this patch, like you said, with that Tyrande or Jaina option, and obviously Stitches being a strong pick on Cursed Hollow, but we're going to see a first pick on Illidan from Team Baguette.
This is dicey. Because now that we have an Ilda now on the board, Uda Papa Uther, they got to take away something support-wise here. They have to either take away the Tassadar or the Rhaegar, I feel. If you get both of those for an Illidan comp with a nice backline, you are setting yourself up for a little bit more of a disaster scenario.
Illidan definitely a risky pick. It's a lot of counter pick options. I mean, Illidan, he's a very, very solid hero, and even if you pick counters to him, you know, he can still play very, very well and kind of mitigate said counters. I would have kind of liked to see maybe an Uther Tyrande, an Uther Jaina, or a Tyrande Jaina, but UU gonna go for Vala, and we'll have to see what their second pick here is.
I still maintain if you want to get your best scenario, you got to take one of those supports away right here. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. It's just you're fighting an uphill battle, and why would you? I mean, like unless you have something to prove, which I'm not aware of any rivalry between these teams. Just take a little bit more of a note out of the counter playbook and grab it here. Vala has, however, had some nerfs, and Vala, I've noticed a lot of different variation in builds. I mean, on North American side, for Vala, it's like multi-shot or bust almost 100% of the time. But here we have a lot more Hungering Arrow play, so I'm curious now with the removal of battle momentum and those invulnerability frames on Vault, will we actually see a bit more of a norm coming out with that? So far on our side, no, but maybe in EU.
Yeah, actually, multi-shot build is still very, very popular. I have seen some people running the auto attack build, but most people are just kind of going that multi-shot build with either searing attacks or the repeating arrow talent. So pretty much the standard multi-shot build with that little change up. But we're going to see a Zagara pick here, and Vala Zagara is actually so far in the North American tournaments in this patch, you know, we've actually seen a lot of Vala Zagara second pick. So pretty standard actually. And the Vala Zagara, depending on what heroic ability you take for Vala, Reign of Vengeance or Maw into Reign of Vengeance can be really, really nice.
Maw into Strafe could also be equally. I don't think, have we seen a Reign today? We've seen several Strafes. Have we actually seen a Reign?
I don't think we've seen too much Reign, but I've seen
3 games.
I think we've been seeing some Strafe, but I've seen both on this patch, and
right.
Reign can be really good. You know, if you can get Illidan into some kind of CC combo, Reign can be good, and then obviously that Maw into Reign combo can be nice as well.
I guess, I mean, it must be a different mentality here because I'm not seeing either side going for their supports earlier on in the draft here. It's all about the backline solidification. I mean, the Vala Zagara after an Illidan. Now we got the ETC to go as a diving buddy here from Illidan. On the North American side of things, I would have absolutely seen a Tassadar or a Rhaegar by now. But I mean, hey, everybody plays the game a little bit different. It looks like Uther will be the choice here from Illidan. Now, Uther, in terms of supporting the Illidan, is actually still pretty okay in terms of like, yeah, he gets off his stuns and his ults and then he dies, but then he has Flash of Light, for those frontliners. So it's just, not what I expected.
Believe it or not, the Uther pick is really strategic here. Yeah, they could have went for that Rhaegar, which pairs so well with Illidan. But if you think about the Uther pick, they're not only denying potential crowd control that could be used on Illidan, but they're also denying um, Devouring Maw into Divine Storm combo. Plus, if they want to take Divine Shield on Uther, Uther Divine Shielding and Illidan can be quite strong. We actually saw that yesterday in a different tournament. Tempo Storm ran the Divine Shield Illidan combo to a great effect.
And we've seen also
even on
Shield
this map
today.
too. Yeah, oh yeah, we've seen Shield today too. So people definitely really liking Divine Shield, and in this comp it could be quite potent.
So it's going to be a Malfurion there for fueling out the heals there on Utapapa Uther. And, is this going to be double support? Will this be double tank? Will we have a little bit more of a bruiser role in there with the Tassadar, perhaps a Sonya? There's a lot of ways that we can actually go for this. But, in terms of controlling the Illidan, none of these guys really strike me as counter Illidan picks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like they kind of maybe missed an opportunity here to go for kind of like a blow up Illidan comp or a CC Illidan comp. Like, this is a pick.
Wow. All
That is a
right.
pick.
Okay, so either Baguette Saucisson has a Vikings player that Utapapa Uther said they cannot allow to have. Otherwise, why would they pick it this early on? Vikings is not a top tier, pick. At least not last I checked.
I think Vikings can be kind of potent against Illidan in the Longship heroic, but yeah, I'm definitely interested to see some Vikings play here. I'm not sure that they had to pick it in that round though.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. Like, either they know something we don't, or Utapapa Uther has a plan.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We being from NA, not too familiar with these teams or even players. There definitely could be some kind of pre-knowledge there, and kind of like metagaming each other. But yeah, definitely. I think Vikings can be a decent pick here. I don't know about on this map per se.
It is a big map.
Yeah, that is true. It is a big map. But typically, I've been seeing Vikings a lot on Dragonshire and Blackheart's Bay, but they can be good, they could be good here too, definitely.
All right, well, we're down to pool time here. 20 seconds for this last round from Team Baguette Saucisson. They could definitely still benefit from some range damage. And who would you go into the back line? Vala Zagara already taken. I was going to say, could it be a Tychus? And it looks like it will be. There's absolutely no move towards a Tyrande here, which I find very curious.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I expected Toronto to be picked by UU, but yeah, I really like the Tychus pick. After the Tychus nerf and that patch, Tychus Cigar kind of fell out of favor a little bit, and Hammer kind of gained some popularity. But now Hammer not really getting picked up too much, and Tychus Zagar kind of reemerging, like Zagar even being regarded as pretty high tier, and Tychus too, very, very strong hero. And wow, yeah, double healer coming out from Team Baguette. I mean, Team Baguette's team is very, very strong. Double healer Illidan with Uther Rhaegar, and then they have ETC Tychus to go with it. It's looking very, very good for them.
So this begs the question: Odin or Laser?
I've seen both. People are like, well, go Laser against Illidan, so you can say like, since we have Illidan on our team, go Odin. But I've seen the opposite too. I've seen Illidan teams with the Laser. It really depends on playstyle preference, things like that. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Odin, but then nothing surprises me anymore. Laser could be an option too. So
8 seconds, and we will find out the last pick here. We need a tank. Could it be the Chen? It will be the Chen.
yeah, and Chen being, like I said, a good pick on this map because of that barrel option to potentially go for a Grave Golem steal. So I really feel like Team Baguette has the upper hand on this draft, though. They do have that double healer, but they also have strong double wave clear. They have ETC, which is widely regarded as the best warrior in the game. I just feel that Team Baguette just got the better end of that draft by far.
Well, either way, I mean, these are what the teams are going to be playing out. Team Baguette looking extremely strong here, especially on Cursed Hollow. I'm curious, the Lost Vikings. Is there something here that we don't know about these teams? Is there something that these teams think about the Lost Vikings that we don't know ourselves? It's a very curious slot to put the Vikings in. I mean, I've seen on North America definitely some very well-known Vikings players, and you have to play around it. You either sacrifice your ban slot for it, or you first pick it as a denial. But as a fourth pick Vikings, like, what are we supposed to read from that? What kind of comp are we actually going to see here from Uther? Will they split? Is this a 4-man roam? Is it going to be a 2-man soak? Will they just be in a lane up against the Illidan?
I honestly think on the side of Team Baguette, ETC and Illidan will be the solo laners, and then they'll run a double support Tychus tri-lane. For as far as Vikings go, it was really popular early on to split the Vikings up, and we could potentially see that. Honestly, that's definitely an option, and I've played a bit on Europe with some of these players, and I think they definitely likes that style. But in recent times, we've kind of been seeing Vikings players just kind of abusing the fact that they're a good solo lane, and then just kind of throwing the Vikings in top. But then again, Chen is also a very strong solo top laner, so I'm really curious to see what happens here with the lane matchups and whatnot.
I'm always impressed by whenever I come over to the EU side of things with Chen play, because I've seen Team Liquid, I've seen Dignitas, like these big heavy Chen players. I mean, they absolutely bully out their opponents. They start taking towers. They drain ammo like nobody's business. It's always really impressive to see Chen play it, because we just don't really have that same level of practice with it over on the NA side of thing. We tend to go more ETC, more stitches. Arthas is now coming back some reason.
Yeah, actually, Barrel Boys, Complexity was running Arthas yesterday.
Yeah.
But I've also heard that they kind of were saying that Europe is running Arthas, and I've seen Arthas even. After his nerf came, I still saw Arthas get a little bit of use in Europe. I was playing a little bit of competitive on Europe, and I did definitely see some Arthas. I think LDLC actually ran Arthas a little bit back post nerf, and I mean, Arthas, he can be a very potent hero in compositions where you run like Tyrande, Jaina, Uther, those CC chain burst comms, because he has that root, and then he has nice burst damage with his activatable trait. So Arthas can be a good one.
Hungers.
Oh yes.
My best Lich King voice right there. So clearly I'm not meant to rule the undead, but Cursed Hollow, it's going to be our map here, Mr. Nick Hotz. Team Uda Baba Uther up against Team Baguette Saucisson. Best of one, because the winner actually goes up against the team you just mentioned. LDLC is waiting in the wings for the winner of this, and that will be our last match of the day here as well. So got to put your best foot forward, and I'm still very curious. What are we going to see from these three from the Vikings?
Yeah, very curious to see. Vikings definitely not a... they're gaining a little bit of popularity, but still pretty rare pick.
I'm seeing a 4-man collapse already onto the top, so we'll have to see if that will be the case. This could be a double soak from the Vikings in the mid and the bottom, whereas we have the 4-man go to town up top. But guys, they are Team Uda Papa Uther, and I'm still probably saying it wrong, but Gucho, Nande, Roll, Sprightly, and the Vikings of Dark Wannix. They're going to be making up their team here on blue.
Yeah, the only there's a pretty big weakness to doing this though. It's pretty easy to zone out Vikings, and look at it's going to be 3, full heroes where we have that double support Tychus tri-lane like I was talking about against 2 of the Vikings. Like, I'm not too sure about that. The Viking, I will have to see what they can pull off in top here with this 4-man.
Eric Keane up into the top lane, going to be representing this French team, Team Baguette. But Celine in the mid, got him. Mayud, Danatan, and Takuzan. And as you said, I mean, that is the big weakness of these Vikings. Something else you could do is just don't push the lane. Just sit behind the lane and zone out the Vikings, and all that soak is now going to be for naught. But on the flip side, the big positive going forward is that this top lane is already starting to melt.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, they're not opting to react to this, really. They're just kind of letting this happen, and yeah, I don't know. And you're going to also go for the push in bottom lane, not opting to zone, and I guess that they're kind of forced into doing that.
1 tower for 2 so far, but we're starting to work our way on that fort, and right now there is still no answer coming out from the Baguette. Eric Keane is sitting there to do, the soaking, but I mean, what is an Illidan going to do this early on? He is not nearly as unstoppable as he might be a little bit later, and so far he's just kind of being the observer. We are looking at perhaps a 2-minute fort, Mr. Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're just going to opt to sacrifice this fort. I mean, honestly, I have not seen many games like this for current.
Prove me right, prove me right. Yes. Super. If they got 201, then they're BM. Yep. Yeah, bottom lane, however, I mean, that gate is now missing as well, but look at that level advantage. A whole quarter level already now achieved, and the rotation from Nande right down into the bruises. They're going to try to put up some pressure into the mid. That'll keep ETC busy, and that will give them time for this Viking soak to kind of kick in a little bit more.
Yeah, you just kind of bullying Team Baguette around here, getting that early 4 and then just stealing the Knights, abusing the Vikings, and Team Baguette really haven't had a definite answer to it yet, and they are getting a lot behind it. And wow, this
Oh, they pushed with it.
Yeah, they took a keep tower. They actually used it. Yeah, this is a bizarre game.
Bizarre, but I'm loving it. I mean, the early game push stuff, I mean, you know, later on, we're going to have tributes. Tribute now spawning bottom, and you can see everyone except Chen. Never mind. Chen is also now coming down. With that level advantage, I mean, we're going to, if we, poke this out, it could be a level 7 advantage going forward, but Celine loses out half of his hit points, just rotating down. Not a good spot at all for Baguette. Illidan is going to be really late to this party as well.
Yeah, indeed, and they have Olaf soaking top, so you might be able to get level 7 here, which gives them a talent advantage. Not taking a little bit of damage, but he's healed up and healing more than drop them.
Yeah, that's the big thing I'd really look to expect. If we can drag this out, the level 7 advantage will be huge going forward there from Uda Papa Uther. But this first tribute is becoming something of a big contention point. Roll goes in, but that actually is going to be his death. He will be the first blood as he drops. The body blocks were very real right there from Baguette.
Yeah, a little bit of discoordination there from UU. I feel like they could have just used their free range to kind of alternate poke.
Oh,
Chen went in there.
Zagara down, Thala down. Oh, that is just taking a turn from the words. All that careful experience lead is basically going to waste now at this point. As Baguette is basically now on the precipice of 7. Olaf, as you said, was soaking into the top lane. That's good for him because he needs the Viking horde. It's also great for the soak for his team. But Wanix, wow. There goes Baylog now as well, and the kills are starting to pile up high.
Yeah, you still with that experience advantage though. They took a kind of a bad fight there. They kind of messed up that tribute quite a bit, but still,
Olaf. I don't think Olaf's getting out of this one. No, absolutely not. Eric down too? Oh no, all the Vikings have now taken the death.
Yeah, a little bit of unfortunate there for you, and they're not going to have anyone up there to soak that experience. And now we have Team Baguette kind of pushing into the fort, but not able to take it out. And then UU was able to take their bruiser cam, and that will be pushing as this tribute spawns.
Yeah, very good timing with their mercs. I mean, they've definitely been very on point. They eliminated the bruiser threat coming out, possibly that could have came out from Baguette, and now we do have the 4-man into the mid. I don't think Illidan can poke this. Could this actually be a little bit of a mistiming?
Yeah, it's possible. I honestly think that what UU wants to do here is just delay this tribute. They're getting that experience bottom lane with Olaf. But Team Baguette is realizing this and capitalizing on it and just going in there and able to pick off the experience.
Man, again, all that experience lead now kind of going really sour. The last shot there from Eric at the end is enough to pick up the Illidan stuff. Finally, something is going their way, but the tribute is done. Splendid? Not Splendid. Spleend. I'm just going to stop attempting to call these guys by their names. ETC was able to pick it up. So 2 for 2 into the pockets now of Baguette. Wanix is at the bottom, and he is pushing, but again, like we went from what, almost 2 levels down to less than half.
Yeah, I mean, UU came into this game with a strategy, but if you're not, employing the proper tactics in fights to, kind of abuse that advantage, then you're really, your strategy is going to be mitigated. And we saw that, Team Baguette, just kind of come in there, just like, we have to force this fight now, otherwise this experience lead is going to just go over to UU.
And Nande there is just doing enough to keep Takazan at bay, and that's going to be the golem now for our team UU. But both teams 10, and this is the 3rd tribute. Very important that we contest this.
Oh yeah, most definitely. UU wants to contest this. They do not want that curse to fall upon their team.
Wanix, no, Eric Keen not going to go for the Baylog. In fact, he's going to get zoned out almost by Baylog and Eric, but I fear for the little points here. Rain of Vengeance going down because this is such a small space to fight. The big AoEs are huge. Here comes the Metamorphosis as well. We saw the barrel, and there goes the Gara. Takazan did not go down. The ETC, however, will with that last shot from the ETC. But Gucho, wow, he was able to get out just at the nick of it. There goes the Rhaegar now as well. Illidan is just way too far forward, and Takazan has to deal now with the Vikings in the back. Uther is going to drop, and this could be also the Illidan, but Illidan, yeah, he knows that his number is up. He's going to try to get a kill on 1, on 2 of the Vikings. Great overkill from the Tychus, and now they actually might be able to solidify with the Olaf, and they do. Wow, they turned that around very nicely, but now here comes the Vala, and that's going to be it for the Illidan by the end of it, but still, massive amount of kills.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath. I mean, Team Baguette kind of got disorganized in that team fight. I felt they would do a lot better, but yeah, the key Ancestral, it did not hit. There was a couple problems with their fight, and yeah, UU was able to clean it up, especially once that longboat raid came to the picture.
Yeah, I didn't unfortunately capture on the camera that longboat raid, but I mean, initiating the fight when they did, there was no Olaf. Olaf was actually pushing bottom with the golem, which kind of wrecked out the fort, it looks like. So they had, Baguette had the early advantage there, but then as soon as the Vikings came in, yeah, Uther was done. I was really impressed, though, that between the Tychus and the Illidan, they were able to turn it right back around on top of the Vikings and take all 3 of them to the bank. So that's really good game sense coming out from both those players. Tychus lived, Illidan didn't, and by the end of it, yeah, they gave up the tribute, but they are really fighting back into this one.
Yeah, one thing I'd mention, Uther did get Divine Shield, so Divine Shield Ancestral, I mean,
yep.
I'm
hard to kill
really,
that guy.
Yeah, I am really curious to see what happens. Like, is Illidan just, is he going to be killable later on here? Like, I'm really curious to see, so.
So ETC is top with stage dive. Wanix is top with no stage dive. This could be bad. This tribute's bottom, man.
Yeah, indeed, and they're actually able to grab that curse, and that's just what they need because they were behind there on that level 12. They did spend some heroics here, Odin obviously being used, but when they're all split up, you can't use one vote, so wow. Yeah,
Tigers
nice.
just get demolished. That's going to be the mod. The Ancestral actually ticks right through the Metamorphosis. The Metamorphosis brings it back to full hit points. Roll is just rolling around, looking to keep this team split. Again, we have no boat. The Olaf is still nowhere near. Zelind in the back is actually still alive, but here comes Wanix. Oh, the charge is so good on top of the ETC. It might be a blue team curse, but now with 2 dead for Baguette, what are they going to get out of this?
Yeah, I mean, the problem there was Tychus getting caught. Despite the fact that the Ancestral landed, you know, the fight was kind of lost. And then once Olaf arrived for that fight, I mean, longboat raid.
He didn't even use it.
Oh yeah, you didn't even need to use it. But you know, the option was there, and you know, the fight was already kind of turned into their favor. So, but yeah.
1 fort. They got no. I don't even think they got a fort out of that curse. The bottom fort was that dead already, or did they get that during the curse?
I believe they got it during the curse. It was definitely damaged earlier in the game, so the curse definitely allowed it to just kind of go down there.
Either way, like not a big impactful curse overall.
Yeah, not the biggest impact on that curse. Yeah, it's UU actually solidifying their league quite a bit, a level up here. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that, but yeah.
Now we do have Uther with a Shrink Ray. So Shrink Raying the Valor, the Zagara, I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on top of that one. Rolling around. We got the Zagara Mog keeping Illidan a little bit at least down. Illidan now trying to go on top of Gucci there in the back, but oh, Gucci's so low. He will drop. Vala gets the kill slightly with that Tranquility and the Ice Block. He's gonna keep viewing, but it's not near enough. 1, 2, and 3. The hat trick is now achieved. That's probably it for the Olaf now as well, but it looks like Roll will at least get out of dodge. Not say the same for the Fat Viking, but is that all the Vikings or just him? Yeah, it's just him that went down.
Yeah, Team Baguette finally able to get a team fight. That was a good situation for them, and finally able to use the strength of their team comp appropriately. And they're gonna pick up this golem here on the side of UU.
So, Mutalisk was actually picked up by Zagara.
I don't think people realize that I think that bug got fixed where the Mutalisk persists.
It does not persist, correct.
Yeah, correct. So a lot of people have been doing just double Hydralisk build now.
One thing to say about it, though, is because we have 7 potential hero targets, the bounce attack could actually do some really good work on a Viking.
Oh yeah, definitely. Team Baguette, they were able to pick up that Grave Golem because of that good team fight, and now since UU has to defend the Golem, that Grave Golem, they were able to go for the double Golem play. So nice moves here by Team Baguette to get back into this game. They're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. UU is got that nice early advantage, and they were capitalizing on it for a while, but Team Baguette is definitely back into this game.
Well, with a big Golem boss pushing down to the top, you can see 3 team members here of UU4 actually coming all the way up here. The Vikings are trying to do their best to split soak, maintain this experience lead, but it's going to be the Tribute. Yeah, the Tribute now into the pocket of Baguette. And very likely the Bruisers, actually, because there's nobody here to stop them, as Mr. Blackheart would say. And that is going to be continued pressure up against UU.
Yeah, Baguette was able to capitalize on the double Grave play. UU had to defend that Grave Golem on top, and then that allowed Team Baguette to just steal their mercenaries from right under them, the Bruiser camp. And now they're going to go for their own Bruiser camp as well.
Yeah, they're painting the map pretty red at this point. And Dark Wanix, again, soaking out the double lanes has really kept them in the lead for that experience. But at this point in the game, the experience soak is going to start really slowing down, especially since there's just so many pensions for team fights. And you got to keep those Vikings together. You can already see Olaf now rotating up because they know they're going to need that boat. Odin is already popped out, and that's going to be the Odin now going in on the back of those attacks. But Roll, he's going to be rolling around. That's going to be the bomb, but I don't know. Is this enough kept the Uther out from far, far away. The boat is now out on top of that Illidan. Illidan is not getting any kind of big heals. There's the shield from Takuzan, but we already lost out the ETC. Could this be too little, too late? Arakin with the blood for blood. He'll be all right for now. And so instead, we jump on top of the Uther. But in the back, I mean, we've lost so many team members here of UU. It's just down to the Vikings, and the Vikings against 3 full-strength heroes at this point is not near going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit worried for Team Baguette there. They, you know, when you play this double healer comp, you don't want to get too crazy. You want to utilize your healing, and they were just able to keep, you know, their members up and kind of just win that fight. They did lose 2 heroes, but I mean, 2 for 4, or even more with the Vikings going down. So,
was that the grenade? I do.
Yeah, I do believe that was the only thing that could have killed him.
And we had another tribute spawn. It's actually now, we had both those tributes going to the pocket now of Baguette. They're pushing in on top of the keep. Chen is still down for 7 seconds. Eric is still actually dead right now as well. Dark Onyx has 2 of the 3 Vikings up, but the pressure is absolutely swung into Baguette's favor on the back of that fight.
Yeah, I mean, the team compo of Team Baguette is just, as long as they don't get too far behind by the Viking, I don't want to call it the cheese strategy, kind of that Vikings cheese, you know, they're just going to have a really good lead.
Another Odin here, Nick, on the back of all of this. That's going to be the ice block there from Sprightly. Here comes the Trank, and he immediately goes down. We had the shield on top of Takuzan. He has the benediction ready to go. You just popped out right there. We did put 2 into the maw just before the Zagara goes down, but I don't think that we're going to be getting out of this one. I think Utapaba Uther might be up. This roll does not have a barrel ready to go, and you cannot escape the Odin that easily. 1, 2, 3, 4 kills. And this is level 20 hype now as well.
Indeed it is, and looks like they're just going to close out the game here. I mean, well played. You know, they stayed in the game. You know, they didn't let that early game disadvantage get to them. And okay, well, I guess they're going to opt to back out here because of the longbow raid. But
the level 19. Long.
Yeah,
not 20.
But Team Baguette is in a commanding position here. Not only do they have really good map presence, they have you know, a keep down for from UU, and just their team comp right now is fearsome.
So they get themselves a curse. They're gonna wait. I don't know if they're actually gonna wait, but if they do, they have the top golem possibility. It's up in about 25 seconds. We also got pings down into the bottom one. We don't have Chen. So if Utapaba Uther want to try to contest this, they're going to get spotted out by the far side. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, there's not much they can do.
It's clairvoyance, my mistake. They don't have.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, knowing that UU is in mid lane, they're just going to go ahead and take this golem right away. And ETC even just kind of feigning pressure here, having that stage dive available if he needs it. And yeah, this is looking quite grim, and you know, this Baguette's Grave Golem is up as well, and that's a big deal here because there's no keep in the top lane.
Well, with the pressure from the curse, I mean, we were basically stuck on defense duty, and you know, that's okay for Utapava Uther because they get to defend, and that means that they get to soak all this experience, which will hit them level 20 for the next fight. The bigger problem is they're about to lose this bottom keep, and then they're going to be looking at a 5-man push from top, which has no keep with this next Grave Golem.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, they really needed to somehow contest this, but it was just, you know, basically impossible because of this. I mean, I would have probably opted to just get level 20 and contest this. This is going to be really hard to defend. An open keep lane.
Open keep lane. We've got a boss in the back of it all. The Illidan so far has not really been answered at all, but the level 20 is here. Both teams got it ready to go. Here comes the stage dive. Oh, They actually take out the Rhaegar. The Rhaegar, I think he got that Ancestral off, but then he immediately dropped. Dark Wanix there with that level 20. He's hitting 2 targets with the bow. The defense is actually shaping up okay. It's a 1 for 3, maybe not okay by the end of it all. Uther's now going to go down, and Roll is not going to be living through that level of damage. So it is not okay, Mr. Nick Haas. That is a 4-man, well, 4 1/4 man wipe, as Arakeen, Lind, and the Golem are all going to take this core to town, and that will be game for Team Baguette Saucisson.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think that you had the best draft there to deal with that double healer Illidan. They didn't, pick up that Uther, early on with like some kind of like Jaina or Tyrande. They just kind of went for this, let's go Vikings, let's try to get this, early lead and snowball it. But Team Baguette wasn't having any of it, and were able to stay in the game. And then eventually they said, okay, we're not going to get picked anymore. Now we can win every fight as long as we don't get picked. So yeah, good job by them. And